right back, Charlie's definitely.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian. Come on.
Sorry for the delay, folks. It's never my fault. It's come. And with that being said, people deluded, I'm back again. Shirley's been here a couple of times. Big her up again. She's part of the furniture, but yeah, man, she was late, people. I see a comment and I have to address this. What's the delay, DG? It's not me. It's like I'm driving the cab. Big up in the circle because he's a cab driver. I know you nearly gave up. I did as well. I was here waiting. I picked her. It's like I'm the Uber driver. She's not getting in the car and we're not going to our destination. It's her fault why we're late. But lateness is greatness, Shirley. How you doing?
Thank you for the throwing under the bus before you even asked me how I'm doing. But
yeah,
I'm
because
good.
you time.
Sorry about the time. Sorry.
I mean, us people are never going to get anywhere, and we're not going to defeat those stereotypes. But there's a couple of things we need to speak about. How did you feel about beating Real Madrid 3-0? Like, taught me everything, man. Leave no stone unturned. Like everything Real Madrid, before the game, after game, during the game, individuals, collective, everything.
Okay, so I feel like I was one of those people before the game that I wasn't so confident. I'll be honest. I felt like we could give them a good game, and I think I said that on here as well. But in terms of the tie itself and whether we're going to go through, I wasn't as confident, right? But into the game now, I felt that it was a great performance from Arsenal overall. And it was a good game of football as well. Let's just start there. It was a really good game of football. I think as the game started, it was a little bit cagey. A little bit cagey. Both teams were a bit cautious at the start. But what I will say is that it became really apparent from that game as the game progressed that Real Madrid did underestimate Arsenal in a few ways, I think. First half, well, in terms of underestimate, I think they underestimated our physicality, firstly. I don't really think that Real Madrid are that much of a physical team, to be honest, and it might have something to do with La Liga, but I think this is, Arsenal's a Premier League side and we are physical and we've built up to that point under Mikel Arteta. And I feel like Real Madrid kind of underestimated that. I think they also just underestimated our quality as well. We've got injuries, but I don't think they quite thought that we would be as prepared as we. And I also think that the crowd, the fans really
atmosphere was crazy.
Yeah, a good atmosphere. And I don't think that they were ready for that either. I think they probably knew it was going to be good, but I think the atmosphere really helped the team. So that's in terms of them underestimating. But yeah, I think it was kind of a game of two halves. I mean, until the last 10 minutes, 15 minutes of the first half where things started to pick up. But I will say that I was really pleased that we saw the quality of football that we saw at the Emirates, and that's both Arsenal and in moments Real Madrid as well. Like players like Mbappe, ultimately we silenced them, but I was happy to see that quality of players doing their thing in the Emirates in a Champions League game. The first half we started to pick up. Second half was amazing from us, especially. I mean, there's so many things to get into. That's kind of my overall. But yeah, I'm really happy.
Get into it. We want to hear your thoughts. Like, I want to hear your thoughts because you've got some things to address. Like, you've got some players you need to apologize to. But go on. We're gonna let you say what you need to say. You got some apologies to make still.
In terms of the people that I was like critical of, I'm gonna start with Martinelli. Yeah.
I'm gonna
start with Martinelli.
Go ahead.
So Martinelli, he had a great game.
Yeah, he did.
against Real Madrid. Yeah, why have you got shades on, please?
I heard Martinelli. I'm just listening. Go on, take it away. We're here to hear your thoughts. I just heard Martinelli, someone that
Okay,
I tried to tell you is the truth, and he would help us, but you didn't want to listen.
Martinelli had a great game against Real Madrid. He worked hard, but and to be honest, before I go on to the buts, I was a bit gutted that he didn't get a goal because he had a few efforts on goal. He forced
How dare
a
you?
couple of. What do you mean?
How dare you?
How dare I what?
How dare you? Like, you mean you were disappointed you had to go? You slagged the guy off
I
consistently,
said I
and
was disappointed.
now you're
He didn't get a
upset he
goal.
didn't score. Don't stay over there. Don't join Martinelli hive. Stay over there. Oh God, I can't believe it. Shameless.
Anyway, so I was disappointed he didn't get a goal, and he forced a couple saves out of Courtois, which was, so it was a shame that he didn't ultimately add to the score sheet. But I think even though his work rate is there are a couple of things that Martinelli still does need to work on and add to his game to be the winger that we need him to be. Because if you compare him to Saka on the other side,
Yeah.
that's very rude,
Like,
That
no, because you're
you do
doing
that
that thing
on
that
other
people do. Pardon, that was what?
I said I haven't seen you do that on any other stream with anybody else.
Jack,
Yeah.
I've given them way worse. I give you an easy time.
Well, I
I
don't
give
see it.
people a lot more.
I don't see it. So can I
You don't
get back
watch
to my
you don't watch enough of my
before I
content.
forget
You
my
don't see me
point?
comment
Before I
enough.
forget my point.
Oh, feisty. Go on.
So when you compare him to Saka on the other wing, Saka he's able to beat a man. When it comes to that one-on-one with a player,
Of course.
Saka 8 to 9 times out of 10 is going to go past and beat the man. And I think that's the difference. So Martinelli has the intensity. He's got the pace. He runs at players. Saka does that too. But when it comes to that one-on-one duel, Saka 8 to 9 times out of 10, he's winning that duel. Martinelli, you can't say the same thing. And we saw that on display in the Real Madrid game a lot. And I think it's a strength issue. I
didn't see it, but I'm going to take your word for it.
I saw it. I think it's a strength issue. Maybe he needs to get stronger because he's got the technical ability, but I just think he's not strong sometimes because we saw him on the ball, attacking, running at players, but then he loses the ball and he's not losing the ball because of his technical ability. He's losing it because he's getting bounced off it. So that's the only really critique. And also I'd say he did a bit better in the Real Madrid game in terms of the crosses that he put in, especially as he warmed up into the game. He was putting in better crosses because I remember the critique I had of him last time was that, he gets to that line and then he puts in crosses down there kind of to no one. I think he did a little bit better with that in that game. So overall, I'll give him credit. Yeah.
Thank you very much for the Martinelli praise.
Who's next?
Mikel Merino.
I knew you were going to say Mikel, but he was on my list. He was on my list too. Mikel Merino. Now, my stance with him, was that he's in this centre forward position, and when he scores, we're catching life. Yeah, but what I would have to say is that I've seen an improvement in his centre forward play from that Real Madrid game. I think it was displayed, and I think how is that just the runs that he was making, just him lingering around the box a bit more. I noticed. Obviously, he's got the finishing. We've seen it.
He's looking more confident as well.
Yeah, a bit more confidence in that position. You can. So I didn't hear you. What did you say?
Or he's got confidence now.
Yeah, it might be that, or maybe he's just learning the position a bit better. But I noticed those little things which I felt like he looked more comfortable in that position. And if we talk about the finish, it was just, I describe it as like a sophisticated finish. It was audacious. It was a great finish. It was almost as if he was going the other way, but then realized that actually I can just hit this. And that's what he did. It was executed really good. Yeah, I feel like Mikel Merino is doing well. And I've seen some arguments of when Havertz is back, does he walk back into the team? Probably not. But ultimately, it all doesn't defy the fact that we do need to sign a striker. I'm not going to say that because Merino is playing really well that we don't need a striker. I think it's still not sustainable to have Merino in that position. But I think he's got an argument to to be depth for that position, like centre forward. You know, he's doing well.
You
So
really
I'll
believe
give
that?
him. I think he's got an argument. If he keeps doing it consistently, him and Kai Havertz might have to battle it out. Because who else would be the runner up for centre forward? It would be Kai Havertz. But if he's scoring just as many goals as Kai Havertz, it's conversation.
I hear what you're saying. Like there's secondary options. They're kind of last chance saloon. Like obviously, Mikel Arteta's had to find internal solutions and whatnot. But you really like, let's say this time next year, God forbid, but we've got this new striker, whoever it is, they're injured. God forbid, once again. You really want to be in a scenario where it's Mikel Merino or Kai Havertz? Would you not prefer like you've got your Gyökeres or whoever's your top dog striker? You've got a next one like, I don't know. Let's just say we got Gyökeres, Sesko. So that's Sesko's our number 2, right? You got your number 1. You don't? Would you prefer to be in a scenario like that, or do you want your A-list striker and then the Marinos, the Kai Havertzes of this world?
No, I would prefer. Of course, I would prefer to
Even Gabriel
have,
Jesus as well, who's obviously injured.
Yeah, I prefer to have like more better quality players like in the team. But you know, if it so happens that we sign one striker, like we sign a Gyökeres, for example, and we got Kai Havertz and can consider Mikel Merino in that position too, I'm not too fussed about that.
What striker do you want? Obviously, I know you ain't a scout and all of that stuff, but like,
Interestingly,
we all watch YouTube. We all have dreams.
Yeah, no, interestingly, I was thinking about this the other day, whether I would want Isak or, which I don't think is realistic, but Isak or Gyökeres. And I think they're both really good, actually. It's tight between them both, and honestly, I wouldn't mind them both. I think Isak, just because I think he's a complete, number 9, the way he plays.
Everything we
But
want.
I think, yeah, but I think Gyökeres, he's got a little bit more to his play in terms of he maybe drops a bit deeper, and I think that might suit Arsenal a bit better. So it depends.
Do you think his general play is better than? Do you think Gyökeres' general play is better than Isak's? Like, take away the striking, he's dropping into midfield and all that other stuff.
I think it's a conversation, but I haven't really watched too much of them both play to say, to be honest. I can't say. But in terms of their finishing, I think it's close. It's close, but there's something that I like about Gyökeres is, just being on the ball.
What is it? Like, what is it that you like about Gyökeres? Because I think this is an opportunity for me to ask you a couple of questions that I feel a lot of Arsenal fans have in relation to Gyökeres, but yeah, you kind of touched on it. Like, obviously goals, like the man's got like 40, 50 goals. He's doing madness. We need a striker, but what is it that attracts you to him? Because I like him. I want him at the club.
Yeah, I think it's just like, it's not, I can't say the pace because I think Isak's faster than him, even though Gyökeres, he's fast, but I think it's the strength. Like, Gyökeres is really strong and he can bully people. Like, and he, from what I've seen anyway, I think it might be the strength. And I like that. I like a player that, has pace but is also strong and people can kind of bounce off him. I don't like players that get bullied off the ball. I think Isak's a little bit more fragile. No, not fragile, but just not as strong. No, I didn't mean that, but not as strong as Gyökeres. So, but then because he's so technically great, he doesn't really need it. But if it's my preference, that's what I like about Gyökeres.
So then the next thing I'm going to ask you about Gyökeres is something I'm sure you've probably spoken about with your Arsenal supporting friends or just football friends in general, and something you've probably, because you watch football content. Are you concerned, like, Portuguese League Prem? Because that's something everybody keeps saying, oh yeah, he's getting all these goals. He can't, like, he's doing it in Portugal. Can he do it in the Prem? You look at someone like Darwin Núñez, who was scoring goals for fun at, where was he? Benfica. He's obviously gone to Liverpool and he's still scoring goals, but he's a bit, like, is that a concern for you? Because he's scoring mad goals. Like, is the exchange rate going to be the same in the Prem?
It's a slight concern. I'd say it's a slight concern because the Premier League is way more physical than the Portuguese league. So you have to just take that into consideration, definitely. And you can't ignore it. But based on what I said in terms of his strengths as a player, being that I think he is quite strong, I think he'll fit in. Yeah, he will need a bedding in period, but I think he can get accustomed to it. I don't think he will struggle with that side of the game in the Premier League.
So how do you feel? Yeah, obviously I know you're not a scout and whatnot, but I do think Arsenal, we get into this weird trap of it's all Isaac, it's all Gyökeres, it's all this. And when you look at half the names we're linked with, like off the top of my head, Isaac, Gyökeres, Nico Williams, Sesko, Zubimendi, all of these players are great. And I'm not going to ask you individually about these players because I know neither of us are experts, right? But it seems like we've got a heart set on some of these names and names I haven't said. If we don't get them, how do you feel then? Like, because a lot of things that have been said is that Arsenal can't get their players, etc., etc. Do you feel like if you can't get them, you have to get someone else, or like we can afford to maybe kind of piggybanking off Mikel Merino, we could probably afford not to sign a striker?
No, we can't afford not to sign a striker. We can't afford not to sign a
I've
striker.
got to ask questions.
But do I feel I would be how would I feel? I'd be disappointed if we didn't get a Gyökeres over the line, for example, because we've been hearing talks about Berta being keen on him, conversations happening as early as now. There's
allegedly, his agent was at the game as well. Allegedly.
I just saw someone talking about he's got a release clause. What is there to? What's the hold up?
But do you think we're gonna trigger that though? Because I don't think we're gonna like pay. Because obviously, if
how
you
much
activate the release, like 80, 100 million. But then again, you hear that Sporting will let him go for less. And I just feel, and you're right, you made a good point in that. Where you look at half of these players, even Matthias Cunha, Zubimendi, Nico Williams, Gyökeres, half Sesko, half the ones we're linked with, if you read between the lines, they've all got a release clause. Is that because Arsenal know that, for example, let's just say the release clause is £20. We know that that's the ballpark figure. And then we're saying, we'll give you that £20, but we're going to give you £2 here, £5 here, £3 there, £7 here, and kind of stretch those payments. Like, I do think there's something in that with Arsenal. But for me, I'm with you. I don't think the striker thing is something we can mess around with. I think it's evidently clear. Like, we're going to get back into the Real Madrid game, but I think everyone could look at it. Like, you said a great point about the second half, and I liked the performance from us. I think we competed for 60 minutes. I think we smelt blood in the last half an hour. But if you go back to the first 45 and actually just say 45 work, take ourselves back to half time, I'm pretty sure every Arsenal fan looked at it as like, boy, if we had a striker, like you mentioned Bukayo Saka, how many tap-ins did someone have? Saka should have had about 3 assists. So a striker is imperative.
But I'm happy you mentioned that point as well, because again, and this is not to get on Martinelli, but it's more to maybe praise Saka, because when you see the difference between the balls that they're putting in, how often does Martinelli put in a ball as delicious as the one that Saka did, that just rolled right along the...
I'm sorry, go on.
No one was there to finish it. Saka does that consistently. We need Martinelli to do that consistently. That needs to be the level, not just sometimes. If you're on the other side, you need to be getting past your man as well, and you need to be putting in those balls from the other side. But what I will give Martinelli credit for as well is I think that link up with Lewis-Skelly is developing. And we did see that a little bit in that game, and I was happy to see it. So I think they've got something going on. There's an understanding between them. He's helping. They're helping each other, on that side, because I think that was something that we're missing on the left side. We had it with especially Ben White overlapping with Saka when he used to play on that side, and then obviously Odegaard. But we were kind of missing that on the left. But I think with Martinelli and Lewis-Skelly, there's something there. So I was happy to see that as well.
I want to ask something about Mikel Merino before we get into some individual performances. Do you think he's better up front than Kai Havertz?
Oh.
He's definitely prettier in terms of
I was gonna say the finishing is nice. It's nice to see. Kai Havertz sometimes, he can hit a ball, it gets deflected, it's clumsy.
It's them dodgy finishes.
Yeah, and then sometimes he can have great finishes as well. But with Merino, I just feel like his finishes are all lovely. But does that make him a better all-round centre-forward player? If I want to give a contrast again. That ball that Saka puts in, I think a Kai Havertz...
In the first half?
That no one finished. I think he put in a couple like that, but there was one really obvious one, and they just didn't get there in time. There was a few people that didn't get there.
No one was there, yeah.
But I think Havertz, if he's playing in that game... He's sticking around a bit more. He's lingering a bit closer because he's anticipating that Saka is going to beat that guy and likely put in a ball for me. Yeah, okay. he's going to put in a ball for me. So I think Havertz has maybe got that instinct a bit more than a Merino has in that situation. But really, it's close. I think that's the only thing that Havertz probably has over Merino at this point, the instinct of a centre forward. But Merino, he's not naturally played in that position, so that's going to take time if he's going to continuously play in this position. But yeah, so for that reason, I will say Kai Havertz slightly, but it's very tight. The quality of finishes for Merino, you've got to. That's why we're having this conversation and we're putting them both on par as a striker, because it's ridiculous. So, yeah.
I can't lie, Shirley. You didn't answer the question though. You said some great points, but you didn't answer. You didn't. You said so. You reckon Kai Havertz a better striker than Merino?
Kai Havertz slightly edges it, just slightly.
I hear that. Do you know what? I agree with you, because I say that as well. I mean, for me, Merino looks a lot more prettier, not to go off topic, but I think it's more because he's a more technical footballer, Spanish-y kind of that. Havertz is more industrial. I do think it's recency bias, because Kai might not be pretty. There's a couple of Merino finishes, like against Madrid, or I would say going a few months back probably against Leicester. I don't think Kai scores that. And all of those things, but I think Kai more scores like the scumbaggy finishes, if that makes sense. As you said, I think Saka puts a ball in. I think it would have probably hit Kai in his face, hit his shin pad, but it would have gone in. We probably would have scored 4. And I do think people need to be respectful to Kai Havertz because of the end of last season that he had. The main thing I like about Merino at the moment is we all know he's not a striker, but I think most fans, whether they're critical of Merino or not, they'll allow him kind of thing. You're doing a job. You're doing what you need to do. He's obviously getting goals. He looks more confident. Like, for context, I was at the Fulham game. He obviously scored. Yeah, he did score, deflected finish. But I think his overall performance across the 90 minutes was good. I think between Kivio and Mikel Merino against Everton, he had a good game. And I think there was a number of standout performances against Madrid. Obviously, I'm not saying Mikel Merino is man of the match against Real Madrid. But I do think, when you look beyond the obvious, we won 3-0 and what it means, he is one of the players that will kind of get his flowers. So I do kind of like the form. But I'll be honest, with the context of where we're at as a football club, I do miss Kai Havertz. Like, we're going to the Bernabeu. I do miss the Kai Havertzes and the Gabriel Jesuses. I think all of those guys are kind of required. So big up Mikel Merino. On the topic of individual performances, you mentioned the name there, yeah? Miles Lewis-Skelly, like, talk to me about Lewis-Skelly. Like, he's wavy, isn't it? He's sick.
Do you know what? Such a joy to watch. Morning, Frank. Such a joy to watch this kid on the pitch, yeah, because for me, it's, defensively, he's alert, he's switched on. And then to see him on the ball, his confidence on the ball, where he wants to pick up the ball. Yeah, where he wants to pick up the ball. Doesn't matter if it's in tight positions. He's picking the ball up. And you know what I like about him? The boy, he doesn't mind it. He doesn't mind the physicality. Like, the boy does not mind it at all. He's 18, but he don't mind. So I love that about him. Love that.
I think he's a South Londoner like yourself,
Okay.
When are we going to get a North London youth, man? A proper one. But anyways, go ahead.
So I think every week we see this boy play. It's just a joy to see his confidence on the ball. I think that's the biggest takeaway for me. We know he's great. We've seen it consistently now. I don't, that's not in question. But I think if I'm going off the Real Madrid game, those were the things that were notable for me. His confidence on the ball, where he's picking up the ball in tight positions as well, and just not caring who's in front of him. And he's playing the occasion and the game. He's playing both, because it is an occasion for him. He's 18, he's playing against Real Madrid. He's gassed, but I think he did very well. He was disciplined, there's nothing I can do but sing his praises after that.
Do you think left back is his now? Do you think that's his spot to lose?
Yeah, I do. And I think he deserves it too. Rightly so. If he's going to
end up as a left back as well, or a centre mid?
No, I think he can get into the midfield. Definitely. Like, he's got the capability of it. But I think I'm comfortable with him at left back. I'm more than comfortable. I'm assured with him at left back. And I think if he's an academy player that's going to put in those type of performances, then I think he deserves it. He's always available. Well, he's only been playing for a short amount of time, but you see that he's always available. He's ready to play. So I think he deserves that. He deserves that, especially because of the level of performances he's putting in.
So then, obviously we've spoken about Mikel Merino, indirectly Kai Havertz. We've spoken about Lewis-Skelly. We've spoken about Martinelli, Timber. Because I want to highlight some individual performances. What did you make of Timber and Saliba? Because obviously Timber's good, so I just want to know your points on Timber, if you think he was good or whatnot. Saliba, obviously, without as talented as Saliba is, me and you both know Gabriel Magalhaes is like his big bro. That's the big brother. That's the one that
Yeah.
governs it. I think Saliba did well in that regard. So what do you make of them two?
I think Timber was excellent, against Real Madrid.
Excellent.
Because I think with him, he's just always switched on. Like you can't really fool him. Like it's rare that someone has his number, where you're tricking him or getting past him. I think he's always one step ahead the way he plays. And again, the physicality that he brings is something that I love, and he's definitely there when it comes to the physicality. But also when in relation to Saliba, we saw he covered Saliba. There was a time that, because we know Saliba is absolutely amazing, and he's what people call a Rolls Royce defender. He is, but he has a clumsy gene in him. Yeah, there's times where Saliba, he has a little clumsy gene in him, and this is not even a critique. He might just be a clumsy guy, but he's a great footballer. So I'm not taking that away from him. But I think sometimes, I think in that Real Madrid game, I'm looking like, where's Saliba? Real Madrid are on the attack. I'm looking like, where's Saliba? The guys were tripping over. I'm thinking, listen, this ain't the time to be tripping over. I don't know what's going on. But don't. And then Timber comes to the rescue. I don't know. Timber comes to the rescue, and I'm thinking, oh, thank God for Timber. But Saliba, listen, when you're in a centre back pairing with Kivior, you are the leader. Yeah. So there ain't no time for you to be falling over, doing anything funny. Just keep it clean. And yeah, I think Saliba was also immense. He had great moments. So the whole defense, even Kivior, can we get on to Kivior?
Get on to Kivior, because you didn't believe in him. I try to tell you, you didn't believe in my guy.
I think that was you that didn't believe in him.
Nah, I wasn't. I've always believed in Kivior.
I'm used to you doing this, so it's cool.
You used to what?
But
you didn't believe in Kivior. I told you to stand up. I don't understand what does believe mean?
All right, you know what? Yeah, with Kivior, this is my assessment of Kivior. I think at the start of the game, bit nervous, I think he misplaced something or missed the pass and did something, yeah.
First couple of minutes, yeah.
Yeah, maybe he needs to wake up a little bit. But then I think he really stood up to be counted throughout the game. He grew into the game. He put in some great clearances, I saw, from some, I think it was like a set piece that he defended really well. He put in some great passes as well. He was confident on the ball. I think he was efficient and he had a good game. So, yeah, so I again, do you know what? I'm going to be sitting here saying the same thing, because I am giving credit to every single player on that pitch, including Raya. I'm giving credit to everyone after that game. There is one player that, I'm not giving as much credit to, but I'm sure we'll get into that player.
Who? No, get into it, because who could it be?
We're going to talk
about Martinelli. Martinelli was my main one. Who could it be?
It ain't Martinelli. We spoke about Martinelli already.
Yeah, I know, but we're going to get onto Rice and Partey.
The mighty Captain O. The mighty Captain O. Odegaard.
You got to be fair to him. He's had a kid.
Okay. He's had
Shirley,
a kid.
come on. He's had a kid.
He's had a kid, or his wife has had a kid.
They've both had a kid. Obviously, she's physically given birth, but this is a life-changing... I ain't got no children, at least I know of, but this is a life-changing moment for him. And obviously, with this season, with the fact that he's captain, with the expectation, not just on Arsenal, but also Norway, where he's captain and a golden boy and that, you don't feel you're being a bit harsh? You don't feel he worked hard? Have you seen his movement the way he was standing in the wall when Declan Rice hit them free kicks as well? Being a bit harsh to the Capitano.
Are you all right? The way he was standing in the wall. Is that what we... Listen, let me talk about Odegaard.
When the free kick was taken, he made a good diversion. It probably blocked Courtois' side.
I don't care. I don't even know what you're talking about, actually. But I think that Odegaard, when I'm looking at the impact of each player in that game, I think that Odegaard had the least impact out of everybody.
So what about when him and Saka were cooking? But go on. I think you're being harsh.
They do that. But I have critiques of Odegaard. Odegaard, he does what he does well. He done what he does well in that game. So what did he do? He picked up the ball from deep. He ran into spaces, he finds pockets of space.
Leads
And
the
he gets
press.
into good positions. But when he gets into good positions, really good positions for outside the box, you hear the crowd, you hear them shoot. The guy ain't going to shoot. He's not going to shoot. He's laying that pass off to someone else. You just know it. It's just so predictable, yeah? What else did he do well? He was pressing, and I think the positions that Odegaard gets himself into, he's kind of press resistant, like the way he plays.
He's a
But
wonderful footballer, wonder God,
he's kind of
class
press
region.
resistant, and he does press. Like you see him leading the press as well. But it's not enough. That lack of shooting, the losing the ball. He was losing the ball a lot. And then again, like you run into these spaces. But what do you do once you run into these spaces? You're not doing anything, because when you do get into really, really clinical positions, you don't shoot. So now I'm questioning, when we ask what signings do we need, I'm thinking, well, do we need a centre attacking midfielder or 10, whatever you want to call them? Do we need another
Do
one
you
that's
think we
got...
need that? And if you do think that, where is that on the priority
I
list?
do think we need to sign one if we can. And I
So
think
where is it on
that
the priority list?
it's low on the priority list, because I think I'm comfortable if Odegaard is to improve and add goals into his game and be more confident. As we know he can do it. So it's not like I'm wishing on a dream here.
He's
We're
had an
wishing on a
injury as
star.
well, and he's also become a dad. But go on.
Okay, not an excuse, neither. But I think that, yeah, it's not like I'm wishing on a star, because we've seen him deliver what we need him to deliver before. So we know he's capable. But I think he's kind of on his last legs in terms of not delivering consistently enough, especially as the captain and everything else. So I think it's low on the priority list, but I think we could do with signing another 10. And that 10 needs to have the qualities of Odegaard, but have more to his game in terms of can finish, is adding goals. Okay, we can't have Mikel Merino playing in centre forward, getting more goals than you. We can't have Declan Rice pulling up with more goals than you. That looks a bit funny. So I
You don't think
think
you can praise Odegaard? Sorry to cut you, but you don't think Martin Odegaard should, like, he's the reason we pulled off this result? Like, obviously, Mikel Arteta gives the tactics, the players go out there, but in the dressing room, it comes from the captain. You don't think
I
Odegaard's the
definitely
reason we
don't
say?
think Martin Odegaard was the reason why we pulled off this result. Look, every player
Fair enough.
contributed to this game. Every player did their part. I'm just saying, when I'm looking at the impact of each player in that game, he had the least. He had the least, and he's the captain.
Oh,
He should have the... It's true. Think about it. He had the least impact out of everybody in that game. Partey was immense. Declan Rice did... We're going to get onto Declan Rice soon, I'm hoping, but
Raya
everybody...
didn't have much to do. He had
No,
more of an impact than Raya. Raya had
Raya
nothing
did...
to do in goal. Shout out our defense.
He did what he needed to do. And one thing I loved about Raya as well in that
We got
game is I
Raya.
saw him, starting off attacks quickly. He was trying to do that. He's
See the
making
third
a
goal
save. The third goal.
where he found Partey, and then we went down the left hand side. Eventually, Lewis-Skelly's found
I think that's
Merino.
what I'm even talking about. I think he threw it to someone, but I
He
just kind of
trusted
like...
Partey in a difficult position. Pause.
Well, yeah, I liked what he does there,
So
starting
you're
off the
right.
attack quickly. I do agree. I do appreciate that in his game. So yeah, even Raya, I can say something positive about. I just think Odegaard needs to, like, it's all well and good. I don't think we need to rest him and like sign someone else in his place, for example. I think we can go another season giving him a chance to start, but we need you to turn up to work. Like, you need to get in the game. It's not about you've had a kid, you've all this. Just turn up to work.
It's a factor.
That's
It's
all
a
we
factor.
need from him.
What do you think's gone, like? Obviously, you're not Mikel Arteta, neither am I. We're not. We are watching Mikel. We are watching Odegaard, but we're not. We don't know the isms and schisms. We don't know if there's an injury or like it's just a bad run of form or whatever. But like, what do you put it down to? Because I feel like every time you've come on this platform and I bring other people on, we're kind of always talking about Martin Odegaard, and we've kind of gone through the months and the motions with it. Like, what do you have it down to? Is it just a poor season? Is it a bit of everything? Do you see light at the end of the tunnel? And like, if this continues, what do we do? Because this season's looking like a write-off for him.
Well, that's why I'm saying, I don't know how much this war chest of money is that we have to spend in summer, but I think that if we can get a 10, what's this guy, Xavi Simmons? Even
That's
Rodgers
gonna
from
be
Villa.
money though.
Yeah, but
That's
even
money
Rodgers.
as well.
Well, okay. I don't know, innit? I don't know. But I think if I'm bringing in a 10, it will be someone like that. That's what we need. So if we can, I would, because I think Odegaard needs to be challenged in that position. He needs to be challenged and he needs to compete for that position. But I still do trust Odegaard. I trust in his ability. I think if I put it down to something, I put it down to just the poor season. He had a long injury at the start of the season, and maybe he's just not quite come back. Maybe it's a break, a reset that he needs. Come back in preseason, really, really fresh, and we might go back to seeing the best of Odegaard again. Which I hope so, because I really do like him as a player, and I like what he brings. But when he doesn't have that contributing to goals, which is what we need,
It's a
because
myth.
goals win games. Ultimately, we need goals. So when he doesn't do that, we are missing out ultimately, and we can't afford to have a 10 that is making us miss out. You're too vital of a position in our attack and into our scoring goals to not be delivering and to be as quiet as he's been. So I think I'll just put it down to a poor season, but yeah, the levels aren't there this season. It's
Do you think he
undeniable.
needs to be a bit more like Bruno Fernandes, like this comment says?
I don't
Because
even
one thing
really.
I'll give Bruno, obviously, you throw them both for football. Odegaard's better than Bruno Fernandes. He loses the ball less. He's very more cultured. Odegaard on song, there's no contest. But one thing I'll give Bruno for all his frustrations, he's down for the trenches. He's on this. Like, he will force it and make something happen. Like, do you think Odegaard needs a bit of that mentality? Because I don't agree with it, but he's seen as a bit more of a softer touch, one of the more, and I even hate to use the word soft, but one of the more softer kind of players. Like, do you think he needs a bit more of that Bruno Fernandes thing in him?
Um. Well, I'm not really the fondest. I don't think Bruno Fernandes is amazing. I think Odegaard's better than Fernandes, but
100.
I think that one thing I can credit Fernandes for is the finishing. How many times do we see Fernandes scoring goals outside the box? Contributing to that, whether it's goals and assists, he does that. So about your comment about him getting in the trenches and making things happen, I don't really know because I don't watch Fernandes and I'm not really here for him like that to be watching him. But
Saw him
from what
against
I've
us though when
seen,
we played United.
yeah, exactly. But from what I've seen in the final third, he's way more effective than Odegaard. Like in terms of
Exactly.
scoring, he's way more effective. But on the ball, as a footballer, Odegaard is better for
100.
me. So I don't know. I just Bruno Fernandes is just not a player I would want to compare any of my players to. So in regards to that comment, I just don't really care. But yeah, I get what you mean.
We got to talk about Partey, man. We got to talk about Partey and Rice, but Partey for a second. Like, what did you make of his performance? Would you give him a new
Yeah.
contract? Because that's something I'm sure you and your Arsenal supporting friends and everybody speaks about with every performance Partey puts in.
Um. Would I give him a new contract? I'd give him because I would give him at least a year, but I would be signing another kind of CDM, like another six type of player, this
100%.
season. I would be. But I would want Partey at least for another year because I mean, if we're relating to that Real Madrid performance, what a performance, he marshaled
Cost
that
it.
midfield. Yeah, he marshaled that midfield. What a performance from him. He was doing these defensive duties. He was breaking up play. Like, he was great. And we've seen that a lot from Partey. The performance that he put in, I wasn't surprised. It wasn't anything that, I felt like, oh my God, I've not seen this from this player before, like a Declan Rice type situation, like what he pulled out the bag. It was nothing like that with Partey. This is a typical good Thomas Partey performance. So because of that assurity that he brings, yeah, we need him for at least another year, is what I would say.
But then, like, I have to be devil's advocate because for me, I'm a big Partey fan. I think Mikel Arteta is too. I think when you isolate, like you said, like Partey's a baller, all that stuff, but where you just isolate that for a sec, if any player had these consistent injury issues, I know there's Jesus and Tomiyasu, but any player has this injury issues, I think Mikel Arteta gives up on him. The man forces Partey into the side, even if he's a right back. He's described as the octopus and all of that stuff. Personally, I feel where you look at him, like the people that play behind Odegaard, typically like Rice, that's Rice, Jorginho, Merino. I might be missing out somebody else. Forgive me, people. But I feel Partey's the more all-rounded. Like, he can't control a game from a technical point like Jorginho, but he can do a bit of that. He's not athletic like Rice, but he can do a bit of that. I think he's the more all-rounded. The only issue with him is I've only seen 2 seasons, I feel, where you've been consistently good, if that makes sense. Like, I'm used to the good games, I'm used to the moments. This season, I wouldn't give you player of the season. I think Magalhaes has done well. I think Lewis-Skelly's done well. I think Timber, but you've been consistent. And then you go back to, do you remember the first year we fought for the league with Granit Xhaka? I would say that year where I've seen consistently brilliant Thomas Partey. Right now, it seems like a no-brainer, right? But say we give him that new contract, because he is playing for that, either to stay at Arsenal or go elsewhere. What if we give Donny a new contract and next season is kind of more of the same negatively? It's like, is it really the right decision to give him a new contract for you? Because from a footballing basis, it looks like it, no-brainer.
I think, yeah, it is the right decision because we need depth. We need cover. Like,
True.
It's the right decision for us. And based on what we are seeing now and based on what we have experienced and learned this season, you need cover. Like, we can't be making a mistake like letting Thomas Partey go right now because we don't even know how the summer's going to pan out. So why would we be hasty to be letting a Thomas Partey go? For me, that would be irresponsible from the club, especially if you've not signed an adequate replacement, someone that's even better than Partey. If you've not made that signing yet and you're letting Partey go, that's terrible. So, yeah, it's the right decision to give him another contract. Based on what we've seen, the club can only go by what he's given up. So,
do you think they've made their decision? Because obviously, like, Thomas Partey is one of our more key players, and I know it's not the same, but if we were saying this about like Saka's contract was running down, Rice's contract was running down, etc., I don't think it plays out this long. Do you think they've already made their decision? Because for me, Partey is too vital to the team, too good. As you said, Dave's putting in too many good performances to not sign a new contract. So is it a thing like, regardless, they're looking at it as a chance of, yeah, we can save wages here, like you're gone?
by letting him go.
Yeah, like the writing's on the wall regardless. Like, do you think they sat there in August and said, do you know what, regardless of how the season pans out, you're gone?
I wouldn't think so, because Partey, for me, if I'm looking at saving wages, he is not one of the first players that comes to my mind. I'm looking at Jorginho, I'm looking at Zinchenko. These are the type of people I'm looking at when it comes to, if I'm saying I need to save wages, they're the first people I'm looking at, you know? So, no, I don't think it's a matter of like, we can justify getting rid of him just to save wages. No.
What do you make of Declan Rice's performance? Before you talk about the goals, like him and Partey, like, whose performance away from the goals do you think was better? And what do you make of Declan Rice's performance across the 90 minutes minus the goals for a sec?
Yeah, I think performance away from the goals, Partey's performance was better in the midfield, because I think Declan Rice, again, he also grew into the game. At the beginning of the game, I felt like Declan Rice was a bit quiet and I didn't feel like he even touched the ball that much. But then he did grow into the game. He was finding himself in attacking positions, in threatening positions. He was also doing his work defensively as well. So he grew into the game and he became a bit more visible throughout. And then, you know, when you put in finishes like that and then you end the game as strong as he did, yeah, you know, he just had an absolute 10 out of 10 performance overall, because, yeah, I need to talk about those free kicks.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, let me just talk about how I felt about, let's say, the first free kick, yeah. I'm seeing, and that's another Odegaard thing, I don't want to see Odegaard take another free kick. Why? Because we saw it in the game. The Madrid game had everything, you know. It had everything. We saw it in the Madrid game. What did Odegaard do? We had a free kick early on. What did he do? It went right into someone's foot or someone's
Same thing
leg.
he normally does, yeah.
Same thing he always does. It's he's skying it, or it's just going into the wall. Odegaard ain't scoring a free kick since the last time he did it. He ain't scoring it. So I'm seeing Declan Rice take a free kick, unexpected. I didn't expect him to go for it like that as well. I think he took everyone off guard with the first one. And I don't, obviously we've all heard the comments he said about Saka told him to just hit it if he wants to hit it, and he kind of made his own decision. Odegaard was telling him to cross it. I think once you do that once, and it was a brilliant, brilliant free kick as well.
You're feeling yourself now.
It had that curve as well on the first one. The first one had a curve too. Not the second one was just disgusting. We'll get onto the second one, but the first one was brilliant. And I think once he's done that, and then you get another free kick 12 minutes later, the rest, I think Real Madrid can maybe predict that, this guy's taking it
might
again.
go for goal now.
what are the chances that he's going to just try and do what he just did 10 minutes ago again? So I think for me, Real Madrid, like, you messed up because that was you should have known what this guy was trying to do. You've just seen what he's done 10 minutes ago and he's stepping up for the free kick again. That's on you. If you don't set your wall up properly, that is on you, yeah? So I feel like
Odegaard was great in that wall. That's what I was referring to. If anyone watches that goal again, watch Odegaard and the team's movement. But go on.
Yeah, I don't know. Boy.
I'm just being honest. I'm not gassing up Odegaard. I'm just being honest.
I didn't see what you're talking about. I don't think I saw it. But
you've got to be able to analyze games for that. But I hear it. Go on, though.
Okay. Is that not what I'm doing? But I think, yeah.
I'll find it though. Don't worry. Go on. I'll find it.
So I think that's on you, Real Madrid, if you don't set up properly for that second one, because anyone could have told you what Rice was about to do. But that second free kick I was disgusted by it. It was so good that it was disgusting. You know when you're eating like tasty food that's so indulgent and fatty and you're like, oh my God, I shouldn't be eating this. And once it's done, you just feel a bit, you just feel a bit like, ugh. That's how I felt watching that free kick. I was eating so much as an Arsenal fan that I was almost disgusted at what I saw.
Obviously, I can't play it, but go on. Like I'm gonna show you this, remove it, and then show you another one. Yeah. Obviously,
just show me.
I'm not saying Odegaard was amazing. I'm not doing none of that. I'm just saying, bearing in mind, Courtois is world class. He had a great game. I like the fact that this was off the cuff in this game because I think we compete well against teams. We play it by the book, but you do need that healthy randomness, right? Now, anyone that watches this again, is it too far-fetched to feel? Obviously, Courtois is like 20 foot tall. He can see everything, yeah? Bearing in mind, we all know where Declan Rice wrapped this. We all know that Saka's standing there. We know that if you're a goalie with Courtois, you're reckoning his right-hand side would be here, innit? Obviously, my left. He's reckoning he's got that. He's daring Declan Rice to do that. Odegaard is within eyesight. I'm just saying, is it too far-fetched to feel in a game of milliseconds and fine margins that Declan Rice, bend it like Deckers, has absolutely wrapped that. And Odegaard's probably saved him like 10 seconds before Courtois clocked that. And that's helped it go in. That's all I'm saying. Has Odegaard helped?
Wait, is that what you were building up to? Because
that's all I'm saying, Shirley. Like, I'm just saying, maybe.
He blocked the vision of Courtois, yeah? That's what he did. All right.
I think he helped. I'm just saying. Like,
and you know what? That's fine, but that could have been any player. So I'm not happy.
But it was Odegaard.
Okay, it was Odegaard. Yeah, good for him. But that could have been any player. Kivior could have stood there and blocked the vision. So who cares?
Yeah, but Odegaard had don't you reckon he had the tactical ID? Like, even if I bring it back on screen now.
But I would credit Odegaard for his
the ball's been wrapped. He's there. It's gone there.
Okay. Fine, good.
I'm just saying, like, is there anything to read into that?
Is that something to applaud? It's not something to applaud him for, but I do think that, we already know that Odegaard is an intelligent player. That's another thing I like about him. But can I just comment, not to digress, but on Odegaard, yeah? Mm-hmm. Another kind of critique from that game is like, yeah, when you're getting into good pockets of space, and I said before, he's almost press resistant. So you can lay off. He was getting the ball and he was laying off passes that they weren't on. Like the passes that he's laying off weren't on. And I'm thinking, okay, Odegaard, I know that you're intelligent as a football player, and you can kind of see if you make this run, how the pitch is going to open up. And I think he can play a pass without necessarily looking because he's got that intelligence. But in that game, I just felt like, Odegaard, you might need to stop and look. You might need to take a glance because that pass ain't on. We don't want you to be wasteful just because you can play a pass instinctively. You don't need to look because but we don't want you to be wasteful. Like if you are playing a pass because we know that you've got that accuracy, don't waste it. You're in pockets of space. So if you're playing a pass, I need you to be able to see if it's on. And I just felt like he was doing a lot of that. He's getting the ball, he's getting into good positions, then he's just playing a pass and it's not on. And I'm like, Odegaard, like that's wasteful of you. And so I didn't like that either. That's just another. I'm going to stop beating a stick over of Odegaard's head, but I just had to mention that.
That's not nice, man. But yeah, like Declan Rice was amazing. Odegaard needs to do better. Partey rolling back the years. We've spoken about Timber and Lewis-Skelly. Kivior stood up tall. Raya did what he needed to do. Saliba, big bro performance from him. Saka did what needed to be done. Even on Bukayo Saka, like, What do you make of him, man? Because he was having a great season. Obviously, missed out through a number of months with the hamstring thing. He's came back like he's not been missing. I actually think he managed the game. I think he played that game a bit differently. That was the first time. Like Saka, don't get twisted. He continuously ripped Alaba and whoever was Bellingham, whoever was there, he was destroying him. But I think it was a different game from Saka in that he was more picking his moments when to kind of do that. And obviously, he won the 2 free kicks as well. Like, and that's annoying. That's an annoying thing about football. Like, people remember Real Madrid, but people won't necessarily remember Bukayo Saka's performance. But like, does he deserve a lot more flowers for that performance and what he means to this club and whatnot?
Yeah, he always deserves flowers, and it was a great performance from Saka. Even though Saka, someone said he ain't even 100%. He's not 100%, and he's a scary guy because we know this ain't Saka at 100%. He's just bedding back in, but his performance was immense, and oh gosh, that's funny.
I'm here to make my guests look good, man. Like, in the circles of mod, he says I'm peeing him off. I don't know what I did. What have I done in the circle, man? I just have to ask the questions.
You know what you're doing, and I'm just so happy everyone else knows too.
How? I have to ask the questions. Like,
yeah, you do, but you're acting like you can't see what I'm saying. You're acting like what I'm saying is like, especially about Odegaard, you're acting like, you can't
what have
see.
I said? How? What have I said that I can't see? Go on. Let's have it right.
We're talking about we're talking about Saka. Let me just mention Saka quickly. Yeah, Saka, always immense. Another immense performance from him. What I felt like with Saka was a mature performance, and he was creating. He was making things happen in that game. Yeah, he always does that. But I saw him calling for the ball, wanting to make things happen all the time, and should have had an assist. Should have had an assist in that game, maybe a couple assists, but he's always producing. That's one thing about Saka. He's always producing. Whether he has an assist or a goal or he doesn't, Saka is always producing. So nothing new.
Have we got to say sorry to, well, maybe not necessarily you, to be fair, but like there was a lot of, Saka should the season. I was one of them as well. Saka should write off the season. He shouldn't play. Was scared about the injury. So if we had that energy, or maybe not you, I can only speak for myself. We had that energy, and it's honestly, I feel Saka's probably been a lot more. He probably got back to fitness a lot quicker than we were led to believe, and then it's just about picking the right moments for him to go. So if we had that energy about rushing him back, and he's going to get injured, and you're not looking after him, and he's playing how he is now, and so far so good, I have to give the club flowers. But like, was you of that camp of like the club are rushing Saka back? He should write off his season and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I definitely didn't think he should write off his season if he is fit and he's good enough. Like, he's good enough to play. If he's fit, why would you write off the season? But I did, I said this last time I was on, that anytime Saka's injured, he always comes back sooner than I expect him to come back. It's for me, I'm always like, how's this guy fit already? Because he's so strong, and we know that, he's just got that in him where he looks after himself, he works hard, and he always comes back quicker than I expected, and he always comes back sharp as well. So what was your question again?
Yeah, do you feel we should applaud the club? Because if he came back and got injured and all of that, we would have been like, you see, this is what Arsenal do, blah blah blah. But so far, so good. So I'm just a man. I feel like you've got to give people their flowers if you were gonna critique them.
No, I think we just got lucky. He was fit enough for this massive game, and we were lucky that he was fit. And when Saka's fit, if he's fit and he's not 100%, that's still a player I'm taking a chance on. If he's fit and he's cleared fit, but we know he's not as sharp but I'm still taking a chance on Saka. I'm playing him. So I see why he was playing. I can't really... Yeah.
So are we winning this?
What, the Champions League?
You know what I'm referring to. Are we winning the Champions League? Like, if you dump out Real Madrid, that's a statement. I know there's a lot of football to go. We have to keep our foot on the floor, but surely.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know about surely. I'm not going to be pessimistic here. We are in a good position.
Just be honest with us.
We're in a good position in this tie, but the tie is not done. Yeah. We need
3-0, Shirley. Why don't you think it's done?
I know it's 3-0, but we need to get past Real Madrid, and there's a lot at stake in this game. The game at the Bernabeu is even bigger than it was before we played Real Madrid. The game at the Bernabeu is even bigger now. It's just a much more bigger occasion, and we need to be aware of that. Like we cannot afford to. Obviously, we're not going to underestimate them, but we cannot afford to be complacent and comfortable and think 3-0, being 3-0 up is going to see us through 90 minutes. And now that depends
Why
on a lot
though?
of factors as well.
We last conceded 3 against Luton. We don't we got a good defense. Like
It just
surely
yeah,
you'd be
we
a bit
do
scared
have
for
the
no reason.
defense, but that's why I'm saying I'm not going to be pessimistic because I do trust in our defensive capabilities as a team, and we ultimately, if we go there and defended for 90 minutes, I would not be mad. I don't care at all. I'll take it all day long. Defend, don't let them score. Don't even score yourselves. Just defend and get out. You know, that's fine. I'm happy with that. But like I was going to say, it all depends on multiple factors. Arteta has to set the team up right. And the instructions need to be right. He got it right against Real Madrid on Tuesday, or whatever day it was. He got it absolutely spot on. He needs to get it absolutely spot on again. And, you know, we need to have in mind that defensively we need to be really, really, really solid. And that's got to be the game plan. And then obviously there's the occasion of the crowd. There's the funniness that Real Madrid have.
You know they're getting penalties.
There's referees. There's Real Madrid, George. You know, there's so many things that to take into consideration in this to get this tie over the line. Yeah, let's speak of the Champions League. Can we win it? Yes, we can win it. I think we can beat PSG. We've beaten PSG already. I think if we turn up, we can beat PSG. Barcelona, if we meet them in the final on a one-off game, anything can happen in a one-off game in a final.
I'm scared. I'm shook at them. I'm shook at them and Inter, I'll be real. I'm scared of PSG, but I think we can give them a game.
Even Inter is one of those scary teams. Not even scary in the sense of like, oh, I'm not putting them on the same level as Barcelona, but I'm saying that Inter they've got the minerals to knock a team out.
They beat us in the champs earlier as well.
Oh yeah, they did. And even a couple of years ago, did they not win it? Was it them or AC Milan? They got to the final and lost against City. They had Onana in goal, so they're probably better now. They beat AC Milan, got to the final. But yeah, we've seen that in recent years. So I'm not underestimating Inter either, but I think it's going to be PSG and then Barcelona as the route if we were to beat Real Madrid. I think Barcelona in a one-off game, anything can happen. So I'm not going to be pessimistic about it. And I think PSG, if we turn up, we can beat PSG, even though they're playing really well as well. But I think we play really well against teams that come to play football, not against teams that are not coming to play.
Do the low block thing like us.
Yeah, so if you want to come and play, then that's what suits us, actually. And that's when you do see the best of us. So that's why I'm not going to be so pessimistic about it, you know. But other than that, yeah.
Do you think Arteta and Arsenal are silencing the haters with a result against Real Madrid? Or do you think Arteta's proving you wrong?
I get why someone would say that. Because
you've been hating on my guy Arteta.
We're going to get onto Arteta. But I get why someone would say silencing the haters. Let me make my point. I get it. But we haven't silenced haters. We haven't beaten Real Madrid yet. We beat them in the first half of this tie. So I can say if we bump them out of the competition, I can say, yeah. Obviously, if we beat them or we hold them to a 0-0 or whatever, even a 1-0, whatever it is at the Bernabeu, if we get through this tie, you can say Mikel Arteta has silenced some haters because there were a lot of people that didn't think we would get through this part of the competition, including me, okay? So I didn't think we would, coming up against Real Madrid, that we would be the ones to progress. But there's a lot of rival fans that said a lot worse and really counted us out. Like I always said, I think we're going to stand up in that game. We're not going to get battered by Real Madrid. I said that. So I never felt like it would be an issue for us to play against them and it would be a lapse in a golfing class. But I was doubtful. So if we get through this tie, you can say he has silenced some haters because we have dumped them out of the competition and advanced to the semi-finals. But before we've gone and had that reverse fixture with Real Madrid, we can't talk too much. We've got to get the job done. He can't talk too much. Arteta can't get too giddy either. We need to get the job done first. And then it's a whole other kettle of fish once we're through to the semi-final. So it doesn't stop. Get to the final and then the gloves are off and then it's all bets are up. But until you're there, you can't really be talking about silencing haters and all that stuff. Like we're doing well, but it's not that thing just now.
Why can't he talk about silencing haters though? Because
I said he silenced some haters, but I think it's to be said once the tie is said and done. Yeah, you beat Real
Okay,
Madrid
no,
it's
go on.
halfway through. Like once it's said and done, and they are out of the competition because of you, then you can talk because
So
not
you
many
don't.
teams can do that.
So you
So
don't
that's why.
feel. Go on, go on.
No, go on.
Because you don't feel like many teams wouldn't be second in the Premier League with all of these injuries. But
Yeah, I do
obviously,
feel.
people would say it's a weakened Real Madrid, but we've got a weakened team. Last year, we got to the quarters and choked and against Bayern. We showed year on year out experience. I think he got his tactics spot on, his in-game management spot on, his all of those sort of things. You don't feel he's got some sort of chest, despite the injuries. We have got to a semi-finals in the League Cup. We did go out on only penalties against Manchester United. Fair enough, the league, we're going to have to hold our L. You minus a lot of dodgy refereeing decisions, we probably have a lot more points on the board, and we're still here. And we've beaten Manchester City, the current Premier League holders, and we've smacked in Real Madrid. Now, you're quite right. Bernabeu, that's another thing. And I think we didn't. I think one thing people are failing to understand is, I think this tie should be labeled like expect the unexpected. We didn't expect to win 3-0. So then we can't really come out here and be complacent. I know Real Madrid got the judge and all of that kind of stuff, and they're going to have to show it, which I hope isn't the case. But we have to keep both feet on the ground. But you don't feel Arteta's done a little, like, fuck you at some haters in this regard. So, like, I'm not
Look,
saying he's amazing, but there's clearly
for
something
me,
here with the gaffer.
for me, Arteta has done enough. He's done. He's. If you're going to call it arrogance, yeah, he's got enough right now, and what he needs to be. Any more, I don't think he needs it. And why? Because Arteta, I feel like Arteta is assured of the things that he needs to be assured about. If you look at the press conference before the Real Madrid game, he was asked, how do you feel like the players like are kind of looking at this occasion? Do you think they're ready? Like, do you think that they're scared, or do you feel like, because people think you're the underdog? And he was saying that my players know what they need to do. Like, we're not scared, we're ready to play, and they know we know what we need to do. And when I saw him say that, I was thinking, oh yeah, okay, cool. But I like that. If you know that your players know what you need to do and you're confident to say that, for me, that's enough, and that's where it stops. When you talk about chest, Arteta can't have chest because he needs to win a major trophy first. If he wins a major trophy and finds himself in this position again next
But he's
year,
won 3 of those.
what? We're not going to do this. We're not going to do this.
No, I'm being serious. I'm banter aside, but you say he can't have chest.
What 3 major trophies has he won?
The oldest club competition in the FA Cup and 2 English Super Cups. Plus, we've improved year in, year out. Like, even though we've been rubbish in the league, we're potentially into the semis.
What are the English Super Cups?
Community Shield, I think it's referred to as, but English Super Cup. Alex Ferguson counts them as honours.
Okay, I'm not Alex Ferguson. We're not doing that. He hasn't won a major trophy. Because we've had this discussion about the Community Shield, and I'm not wasting breath on that discussion. Okay.
Listen, don't shoot me, Shirley. I'm just saying.
No,
this is what the man himself says. I've won 3 trophies.
Yeah, good. He can win 3 trophies, but I said he hasn't won a major trophy. You're talking about, should he have chest in the quarterfinals of the Champions League? No, he shouldn't have no chest. Win, and then have chest. Like I said, he's assured about what he needs to be assured about. If you're saying my team knows what they need to do, absolutely fine. I'm happy to hear you say that. But you're talking about chest, win. And then when you find yourself in that position again next year and you're against Real Madrid and you're saying, look, I'm confident. No one can be like, oh, no, he has no right to be confident because he's done it. So, of course,
but what is confidence, though?
No, but if you're saying chest, so what's chest?
Yeah, what is chess? Confidence is a social construct, though, like, which is a deeper conversation to have. But like, why can't he be confident? Haven't you got to be confident in life, anyways?
I didn't say he can't be confident. I literally said
he's assured
about the right things. When you ask him, do you know, is your team ready to play Real Madrid? And I don't want to hear him say, they're better than us, they're a good side. Like how he used to be back in the day when he first came and he used to talk about Man City and Liverpool. He's not talking about no other team like that. And I don't want to hear him talking about another team like that. Good. He's confident in him and his team's abilities. But when you talk about chest, for you to have chest as a manager, you need to win major trophies. Arteta's not exempt. He's great. He's done well. And I'm not.
But look at the top 6 record.
That's fine. We can acknowledge that he's done well. But even when you mentioned about, should we be second in the league? Okay, yeah, with our injury crisis, I think we've done absolutely great to be second in the league. But the point is, we've consistently challenged at this level. This is no longer crazy for us. This is no longer like out of the world for us to be here. We should be first in the league. So that's why us being second, because we've been at this level. So you need to go forward.
But what divine right do we have to be first?
Well, that's why we're not, because no one has a divine right to be first. But if you're saying, oh wow, it's amazing that we're second, yeah, it's good that we're second, but we want to be first. So that doesn't qualify him to have chest. Did
you not? But you said two different things there, Shirley. You said we've got no. In one breath, you said we've got no divine right to be first, and you said we should be first. So which one is it? So if the man has ambitions to want to get there, but we're not there.
But when you challenge for the league 2 seasons in a row, where should you be? Where should you be?
The ambition should be first, but like things happen in life, innit? You just have to keep going.
So you should be first then. You challenged
yeah, but this year we've had a lot of injuries. We've had a lot of refereeing decisions go against us.
We've had a lot of injuries, but one thing I like about Arteta, he doesn't do what you're doing right now. Arteta doesn't make these excuses.
Me?
He doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't.
Me for it. Like
Arteta doesn't make these excuses for us, so no fan should.
It's an excuse.
I'm not trying to hear it from any fan.
Did I tell you it's an excuse?
Excuses about we've got injuries. Yeah, but we're good. We're Arsenal. We're good enough with injuries or not. So we should be challenging. And yes, there are other things. You're talking about injuries. There are so many other factors about this season. We've had injuries to key players. That's the main thing. And we've had a lot of decisions not go our way as well. There are a few points. There's at least 9 points for us that were cheated from us. So where does that put us if we get those 9? If we had those,
put pressure on Liverpool. But like, where did I say this is an excuse? Or I just mentioned the reality?
No, I said it's an excuse, but
so how's it an excuse? If you're my manager and I get into work late, and I say, oh, the bus came late or the train came late, is that an excuse or is that me telling you the reality of the situation? I should have left earlier, all of this, but where did I say it's an excuse?
You should have left earlier then. It's an excuse.
I literally said that. I never said it's an excuse.
But it's an excuse.
It's a factor. It's not an excuse. It's the reality of the situation. I've never once said, "Oh, allow him." I've just all I've mentioned, Shirley. I'm a bit shocked to hear you say that.
If we have another season next season where we have loads of injuries, then it's okay for us not to win the league. It's okay.
So why would it be okay then and then not now? Because I don't see consistency in your logic.
I'm going by your logic. By your logic.
You don't get my logic. I'm operating at a higher level over there.
If we have injuries next season, loads of injuries next season, and we're second, that's fine.
Where did I say that's fine? You're doing the Daily Mail thing. You're doing the journalist thing because I never said none of that.
I think you're trying to confuse me.
I'm not confusing you. I think you're hating on me.
I'm getting confused now, so I'm done. What's the next topic?
Anyways, the next topic is where we wrap up and Brentford. No, I didn't mean it like that. I didn't mean it like that. It's just all there was to ask you is about Brentford. Like we've gone over Real Madrid. It's Brentford today, man. It's Brentford at 5:30. So, yeah. Talk to me about Brentford. Do you think it's a scary game? Have you given up on the league? Do you think there's rotation? Do you think we should make rotation? Everything Brentford.
Brentford, well, the league is done for me, but I still want to see good...
That's
excuses. I still want to see good performances. No, but the league is done because I think even mathematically... Well, it's not mathematically done just yet, but... I think it's done because I don't foresee Liverpool dropping enough points in the time.
Have they played 38 games?
Well, I said I don't foresee. So it is what it is.
No, but you said the league's done. But you said the league's done. You said the league's done.
I don't foresee them dropping enough points. I could be wrong. And if I'm wrong, great. But, I want to be wrong. That's what you're not getting. I think
no. You're not getting what I'm saying. I hear that. You're talking about the title. I just know it's April the 12th. 24 hours for my birthday. Smash the like button, people. Yeah,
the league is done for me.
There's 38 games. How can the league be done? We ain't played 38 games.
I don't think we're winning the league this season. That's my opinion. Okay.
So you want to give up when it's mathematically possible?
No, it's my opinion, but you didn't let me finish my point. Okay. My point is, I think the league is done, but I still want to see a good performance. So that means that I want us to be playing the right team and playing well against Brentford today. There's no excuse to not put in a good performance. So that's my point. If you had let me finish, but I think after Brentford, so yeah, you need to be. I think there's room for a bit of rotation, but I think Honestly, it is like a tough job, and I actually warned you. I'm going to expose you. I warned you before the stream to cut this
Whoa,
nonsense
whoa,
out.
whoa.
This nonsense, cut this
What's
level
going on?
nonsense out, and let me make my point.
What's
So I'm
going on? What's going on? I'm gonna mute her mic here because I don't. Her mic's muted. She forgetting I control all of this. Like I don't know what she's talking about any of this. About I warned you and I did this and that. You see how people that you think are cool try to stitch you up. We're gonna bring her back in. What was it you were saying?
I don't want you to mute
Go
my
on.
mic again. So do you know what? As I was saying, I'm going to continue with my point. I think there's room for some rotation, but I wouldn't if Kivior and Saliba, for example, are the centre back pairing that is going to play against Real Madrid, I would play them against Brentford because I want some consistency. I want them to just get comfortable with each other. I really am looking at Ben White. I want to see Ben White play. I think this is a game for Ben White today. I want to see Ben White at right
Give
back.
us your 11.
Well, ideally for me, I'll put Ben White at right back, obviously Raya in goal. And then centre back pairing, I would have Saliba and Kivior. And I'd have, if Tierney's available, I might even put Tierney on as left back and give Lewis-Skelly a rest. But I don't mind if Lewis-Skelly plays. Then in the midfield, I would do Rice, Jorginho and Odegaard. I'd give Partey a rest because I want Partey to be really fresh for Madrid. And then in the forward line, I put Martinelli, Saka, and what's his name, Merino, because with Martinelli, I think he just needs he needs more minutes. Obviously, we know Saka needs more minutes because he needs to get back into the game. But Martinelli, I think, even though he came back from injury before Saka, I think he still needs more game time, like consistently. So I would start Martinelli. But I wouldn't mind if Trossard started either. I wouldn't mind that either on that left. So yeah, that's my lineup.
Are you forgetting someone?
Who?
Two people actually.
Who?
Left and right side.
I said Saka and
I know what you said.
yeah.
But I said that you're forgetting two people.
Who?
Mr. Raheem Sterling on the left,
Oh.
Mr. Wanyeri on the right. You want to start Saka? Okay.
Do you know what? Yeah, I hear the Nwaneri shout. I will start Saka, but Saka doesn't have to play 90 minutes. Just because I start Saka doesn't mean... Or someone just said, maybe start Nwaneri, and if we need to put Saka on, put him on. But I think Saka starts and take him off after 60 minutes. You know, put Nwaneri on and let him finish the game. Why not? I don't think it's a massive drop in quality when Nwaneri comes in at all. So why not play the boy and let Saka... play a bit, get some more freshness, and we don't need to exhaust him for 90 minutes. So that's fine. Raheem Sterling, not a shout for me.
But if I may go back, you said the league's over. You said the league's over, right? Like you said the league's over. Did you not say that? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Is it fair to say all your eggs are in the Champions League basket then? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Is it fair to say we've got a small squad with a lot of injuries and minutes in the legs? Yes or no?
Yeah.
So with all that being considered, and we've got Real Madrid next week at the Bernabeu, where we've got a comfortable cushion, but it's not set in stone, and we've got question marks over the fitness of players, right? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Would you describe this game as a dead rubber of sorts against Brentford this evening? Yes or no?
No game is a dead rubber.
Okay, I hear that, Graham Souness. I hear that.
In isolation is never a dead
every game means something. Bearing in mind, people, she said earlier the league's a write-off, but okay, that's the first thing.
It doesn't matter. You still play. You still turn up and play. You don't just not on the beat.
So would it not make sense to play the Raheem Sterlings, the Wanyeris, bring Saka off the bench?
This ain't a charity. There's Trossard there. Trossard can
It's not a charity. We're using our squad properly.
I'm playing Raheem Sterling. I'm looking at Trossard. Trossard
seems like you got an agenda against Sterling.
I don't think I do. Can I just clarify? I really respect Raheem Sterling as a player. I do. But I'm not going to be one of those people that sit here and say, I appreciate Raheem Sterling. I don't appreciate Raheem Sterling for nothing because he's done nothing for me. He's done nothing at Arsenal. What do I appreciate?
He's not been given a chance.
No, I have given him a chance. Mikel Arteta.
He's not been given a chance.
Okay, well, from what I've seen him on the pitch enough to warrant a good performance, and he's not giving me that. He's given me that like once or twice. That is not enough. So for me, in the pecking order for that left-hand side, he's like third. No, if Jesus was there, he'd even be fourth, to be honest. But he's not my immediate option, and he hasn't done it at Arsenal. So, but I do respect him. I can't ignore what he's done in the past. That doesn't just get written off because he's not performing at Arsenal. But what am I like kind of singing his praises for? He's done nothing for me.
You mentioned a chance. He's 13 appearances. Bearing in mind we're at the 20 game mark.
That's enough for me to see if you're on it or not.
352 minutes. 352 minutes. He's not been given an opportunity. What do you mean that's enough to see if you're on it or not?
Because you're
There's certain players you praise. There's certain players you've just praised that weren't given an opportunity, and now you're happy with them.
You're an experienced player in this league, yeah. Let alone
but
you're a senior player. Sorry,
but he's not experienced at Arsenal.
He doesn't need to be.
He does. It's a new system, DNA, way of playing.
Was Haaland experienced at City before he came and started doing the madness at City?
No, that's a young player coming from Germany. Raheem Sterling is someone that we. Would it be fair to say Mikel Arteta has got a complicated system? You see all the interviews and the way opponents talk about playing him, right? And Arsenal, right? So it takes a bit of learning to understand. Sterling's not been given the opportunity. This one thing, having theoretical experience, you need to get practical ones. He played 352 minutes across 13 games in the league. How is that a chance to you? That's not a chance, Shirley. Come on.
It's a chance. Raheem Sterling is a senior, seasoned and experienced player in the Premier League. When Raheem Sterling comes to Arsenal in the position that we're in, yeah, and starts talking up a storm like he did.
What did he say?
My expectations, he said, I'm going to see the best of him, and I didn't see it. My expectations are going to be very high from Raheem Sterling, and I think rightly so. Rightly so. So if you're coming into Arsenal and you are not delivering, you are going to be criticised. You're not seeing it. You don't need a bedding in period. You're Raheem Sterling. You don't need a bedding in period. Yes, you can get acquainted with your players, but once you're literally, for me, 13 appearances is enough. 13 appearances is enough for me to see if you're actually going to do something or not. And I just don't think he's quite the right fit.
Do you think that's fair?
Yeah,
because you like David Raya, right? And you like Mikel Merino because you praised him at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, they weren't given an easy ride and they were allowed an opportunity. And it's fair to say you've been singing their praises.
But the thing is, the difference is we saw that Sterling weren't really up to it towards the end of his season at Chelsea. We saw what he was doing for the second half.
I don't watch Chelsea. I don't know.
Well, I did see. And for the second half of his season at Chelsea, he weren't up to it, to be honest. So that's why that signing frustrates me so much. It's not because I've got something against Raheem Sterling. I just don't think it was the right signing for us to make. It was the wrong signing. So now he's going to get the slack because it's him that they signed. But if it was another player that weren't quite delivering, I would be saying the same thing. So it's really not anything personal against him. I just think he's not the right fit. And we should have known that. We saw it. We saw evidence. Maresca came out at the start of this season, saying he's not a part of my plans. Why
That's going to affect his confidence, though.
It's going to affect his confidence. But your experience, get up. As a player with your experience, that really shouldn't be affecting your confidence.
Okay, what if your manager at your job says they don't believe in you? You're not going to lose confidence a bit.
But I'm not as experienced as Raheem Sterling in my field. Like, Raheem Sterling is experienced in what he's doing. So for me, you should have built up enough resilience by this point in your career and trust in your ability. That shouldn't really get to you. And whether you're going to leave Chelsea after that's been said about you and come to another team, you should be delivering. You should be trying to prove that guy wrong. That's what you should be on. It's not about sitting, wallowing around and playing victim. You're way too experienced for that. So I can't make any excuses for him.
I think you're being very harsh. I don't expect to hear you celebrate if Raheem Sterling, in fact, when Raheem Sterling bags today. But that's the beautiful thing about football. Football's his opinions. My last question for you then. Give us a prediction for Brentford. I'm going to go 1-0 Arsenal, Mikel Merino header.
Prediction.
Don't seem very upbeat about Brentford.
Sorry, I got distracted. Sorry. I think we will win 2-0.
Goal scorers.
Goal scorers. I think Merino will get one. And I think Marino will get one, and I think maybe Martinelli. Maybe it's Martinelli's day.
Shameless.
I might be at the game, you know. I might be going to the game. That's what I got distracted about. So
Shameless. Do not celebrate Martinelli. Don't celebrate Sterling.
Excuse me.
Shameless individual. This is shameless.
Well, I think I'm going to the game, so we'll see how.
Safe travels. Just make sure if Martinelli or Sterling score, and even Merino. I'll let you off. You can do a Sterling. I want to see a straight. Here you had a straight face because you don't believe in these players. You didn't believe in my manager, and now look at us.
No, I think why I'm saying sorry. In fact, if I'm going to give, it's between Martinelli and Saka. Actually, I think Saka might score today as well, but I think Martinelli. He's warming up, he's warming. The last few performances he's putting in, we're seeing good performances.
You want to come over these sides now?
No, I'm just saying we're seeing good performances. So I think it could be his day to get a goal. Why not?
A man said, I swear DG would have a front three of Sterling, Antonio and Bailey with Ethan Pinnock at the heart of our defence if he could. What has that got to do with anything? I just want to see everybody shine. We don't do Jamaican bias here. We support everybody at the football club. The game's at the Emirates, Saeed. Is it Saeed? Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that. Sterling should be in the peak of his career. He's 30. Listen, he is at the peak. One reason I give Raheem Sterling credit is there's every reason to give up. You're Raheem Sterling. As Shirley said, you're very experienced in that. No one believes in you. But I think he's got unique qualities that nobody else offers in this squad. He gets up every day and trains well. We haven't done anything. And Kareem always rises to the top. It might not happen today. It might not happen tomorrow. It might not even happen this season. But eventually, Raheem Sterling will be back. And who knows? If we have a certain final in a competition in Munich at the end of the season, he might score the winner. Life is funny like that. And I don't want to see everybody celebrate.
So do you want him to start today then?
Sterling, yeah, 100%. 100% Sterling can play today.
Yeah, he can, but you asked me for my 11. My preference is that Sterling doesn't start. If Arteta wants to start Sterling in place of Martinelli, for example, don't know why he wouldn't start Trossard. I think Trossard deserves it a bit. Well, let me not say deserves it a bit more, but I think I would start Trossard in place of Martinelli. But if Arteta chooses Sterling, I won't be mad. I'm not going to be I would see why he's done it. It makes sense, but
no, you wouldn't, because you don't rate the guy. You wouldn't have seen it.
I would see why Arteta's made that decision, and he's probably just trying to give him minutes. But at the end of the day, Sterling ain't it for me. And if you're talking about moves that need to happen at the end of the season, we need to send him back. Yeah,
I would keep him. I think I hear that. I know why, but I would keep him. We're going to lose Partey, Tierney and Jorginho. There's a lot of experience going out of the door. And, him being an international level footballer, I think there's a lot of intangibles he can pass on to Miles Lewis-Skelly, Wanyeri, a young Max Dolman, potentially even Bukayo Saka as well. And he's clearly a good lad. But for me, I would go, Raya, Tierney, Ben White, Kivio, Saliba, Jorginho, Trossard in the 10, Rice, Sterling, Wanyeri, Merino. Continue your thing up front, man. Damari Gray's a good player. He's got unique qualities. But yeah, man, Shirley, let people know they can find you, even though you're not really bait on socials again.
Yeah, I did make a Twitter, so that's active. It's Irie258. IRIE258. So if you want to connect with me on Twitter, you can. I don't really use it, but I do talk about football on there, so it's a good place to connect with me. And Instagram, Shirley Irie. Yeah, that's me.
So you know where to find the people. Now, obviously, I asked her for a prediction. I'm gonna change me. I'm gonna say 2-0 Arsenal. Martinelli and Raheem Sterling at the double. As usual, Shirley, it's always a pleasure. You offering up your time to speak. Hopefully, the next time we speak, we're through to the next round against Real Madrid, and maybe there's a positive twist in the league. But yeah, fingers, everything crossed. You lot, let us know your thoughts. Like, comment, subscribe. Safe journeys if you are going to the game, Shirley. And yeah, we're out, man. I'm back at 4:30 people now before kickoff for a watch along, and yeah. Peace. Done no.
I think it's like